Welcome to another episode. Keeping it orange and blue. I'm Ryan Evan, and finally, he has come back to keeping it orange and blue. Our band's finest, Kevin Ducey. What's up, Kevin?
This is gonna be a tough show, dude. It's gonna be a tough show because I only want to talk about one thing, and everybody else is gonna want to talk about other things. But I want to talk about one thing and one thing only.
And guess what? He's gonna have to wait till final thoughts to talk about it. So
you have to give me a big window.
Yeah,
to talk about my final thoughts.
we're gonna make final thoughts a 5 to 10 minutes part at the end of the show. So
right on.
Because
Ryan, it's always been goofy about me. Like I've talked about this. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy recruiting. I enjoy the transfer portal. Especially in the revenue sports, basketball and football, and even somewhat now in women's basketball. I think what Shauna Green's doing really awesome. But I've always been a between the lines guy. Like, what I care about, what is happening on the field of play,
or between the ropes.
Right, sure, absolutely, and it's just something I fell in love with. I fell in love with Illinois golf recently, and we'll talk about it later, obviously. And then some Illini baseball, obviously.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Illinois baseball deserves some love too, and I'm just going to tell you right now, Kev's talking about golf on his final thoughts, and I'm going to get to baseball. So there we go, everybody. So Perfect. If you want to hear about it, wait till the last 2 minutes of the show. And I can be honest with you, Illinois golf deserves some love. I saw that they basically are heading that they lead in the regional or the final, or they're gonna be the number one seed in match play, right?
Yeah, they were the only team under par. They were 6 under par. The next closest team, I believe, is Vanderbilt at 10 over. Through the 72 holes that they played this weekend. It was a shocking. It was supposed to be a rebuild year. We lost 3
they
of them.
Didn't win the Big Ten even, Kevin. How odd is that?
Yeah. And Ohio State actually didn't win the Big Ten either. They're in match play as well, which is the first time I can recall seeing two Big Ten teams in match play. Really phenomenal. It's just a great season for them. So, but there is so much movement in the portal, Ryan. And listen, I love. Like you guys don't know Ryan and my personal relationship. Like, we're pretty copacetic on the show, but we jab each other a little bit. We make fun of each other. We fight like married couples sometimes off the show, and like, hey, what's going on with this? And, dude, my man has been on top of what is happening with the transfer portal, especially on the basketball side. And then my man's always been more like locked in on the football side. Like, Ryan, you came to fame in knowing what was happening on the other side of Florida. On the north side, and now, dude, what the information you're getting on the south side is phenomenal, my friend, and it is some good news happening for the basketball squad. So just like fill the folks in, let's talk about it, man.
Yeah, let's get to it. So, and I appreciate that, and Kev, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I hadn't have done those periscopes for 4 or 5 years, 3 years by myself, those last couple of weeks would have been, I don't know what I'd have done. I
apologize.
No,
2 weeks ago was my fault.
Hey, he had a tornado, like an F3, F4, about blow his house down.
It was only a couple miles away. My kids were in the shelter. Like, it was like I was literally putting my kids to bed, coming to hop on the show, and the sirens went off. And my wife and I we just got done watching the show. Like, I didn't realize it was that bad. And my texts start blowing up. I turned on the news and I'm like, holy crap, this is bad. So
I almost feel bad, but I was like, yo, you coming on, bro? And
he's like, it would have been like in the background. This would not have been good.
He's like, I got twisters barreling down, but I'm thinking about it. I'm like, no, you know what? I was like, dude, if it's that bad, please keep yourself safe, dude. I was like, your daughters need their dad, man. Forget that. You're not coming on this show, and I find out your house got ripped apart. I would have felt like shit. So it's all good. Man, we prayed on the show. We had a live prayer on the show.
Oh man,
we had guys sending you prayer in the chat, and so
yes, absolutely, yeah.
But so Illinois, here's the thing too. And before we delve into the meat of it, we can go back and forth here. I mean, everybody's been saying, oh, Underwood and them have failed. They missed on this guy, Kevin. Oh, they missed on that guy. Oh, they missed on AJ Storr. They missed on Maddox.
You're gonna miss on kids. You're gonna miss on guys. Like, dude, that's part of the thing.
But I mean, too, and so since to me, technically a miss is if you're all in, chips are all in, right? You're at the table. Like, you put all your hand and you're like, this is all we can give you, and we want you so bad. Come on, man. And he picked someone else. to me, a miss like AJ Store isn't a miss when you're like this. This is our offer. We could go a little bit more, but what you're doing right now is like really weirding us out. So we're going to take a step away from that table, and we're going to kind of pull our offer back, and we're going to go that way. And then a week later, he picks Kansas. To me, I don't feel like that's a miss. Like it's a whole different story when you take yourself out of the equation. And that that was what happened with Store. With Maddox, they were like, you're not worth $600,000 to us. I'm just going to keep it real. So we're not paying you $600,000. And guess what? Xavier did. So to me, it's like, I don't feel like those, it mainly is because people are saying like, oh, he can't close the deal. They can't get this guy. They can't get, I'm thinking these dudes know what they can afford, where they want to spend their money. Yep. And if they don't want to give a guy $1.2 million, they're not going to do it. So
I mean, there's budgetary constraints in this. It's not like it's an ever flowing free flow bag. Like, I mean, we'll talk about it as time goes on, but like there's certain limitations where donors, the NIL budgets, like they have to stay in certain parameters, and we just couldn't do it. And with some of these guys and still be able to fulfill the roster needs that we were going to have with so many guys leaving, with so many guys graduating, with so many guys going to the NBA draft, all the things. And so I think that's going to become an interesting topic as I prefaced when I started this is what happens with AJ DiBiase, because and then there's another guy shooting up the ranks, Will something or other in 2025.
Will Rogers.
Dude, and like with a guy like AJ DiBiase, like you got the number one recruit in the nation, possibly the best high school basketball player, regardless of class, as of last season. I think he's better than Cooper Flagg personally. There will be direct NIL money from high-level boosters that say, hey, listen, you have this much to get this kid. I don't think that was the case with somebody like AJ Store, and I don't think that was the case with Maddox. And so the roster has been filled with well, not completely yet. We still got confirmation, but where you're sitting, Ryan, we're good with Kasparis, right? Like
that's what we're getting. Yeah, and that's what we're getting to right now. So is the next title here you will see. It's Illinois had Jeff Alexander in Berlin last week, okay? And for any of you people who are not on the Discord, okay?
Get on the Discord.
Get on the Discord. And here's the thing. I plug it every week just because it's free, you people, my friends, okay?
What do you mean, you people?
It's you people. My people. How about that? All Illini Nation. It's free. So I say get on there because if you like information and you're a diehard kind of like me, the reason that I do this show with Kev, because we're diehards, the reason why I've always given it my all and posted the information that I've known for years and did it so long before I made my little 200 columns year thing where I had to charge people some money, like $6 or whatever.
Right.
I just did that. I wanted to see, and people did. And I just felt like, you know what? It wasn't worth $6 for people because I was the only one really putting stuff.
It takes a team.
It takes a team to do it. So I just felt bad. And after a little bit, I took it down. It changed it anyway. So because at the end of the day, I always wanted to know information, right? And so if I always wanted to know, I know tons of other people are like that. And I didn't want to always pay $10, $11, $12, whatever. Not everybody can do that. So now that I'm at a point where I can deliver this stuff, I'm like, you know what? Jump on, let's go. So if you've been on the Discord, you would have known that Jeff Alexander had been in Berlin since the middle of the week. Okay. And I know there was reports other places that he couldn't go or he wasn't there or whatever, but the bottom line is he was there. So who was he there to watch? He was there to watch Barcelona, combo guard, lead guard, however you want to do it. He can play point. Kasparis Jakusionis. Okay, we're going to get the correct pronunciation here very, very soon. And that's for a couple of good reasons. Now, what did he do while Jeff Alexander was in Berlin? His Barcelona team went 1-2, but it wasn't because of him. They played some of the Europeans' top kids in the class of 2025. There's going to be 3 or 4 kids who are going to get drafted next year he was playing against. Nolan Traore is a lottery pick, okay? And he played for the team from France. It was like Inep, whatever club team he played for there. Nolan Traore is a name you guys will hear very much next year. You'll know. He put up 45 points against Barcelona. And Kasparis, what did he do? 31 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals, 14 of 16 from the free throw line. Here's something that he did. He led the whole Adidas Next Gen tournament in free throw attempts and free throw makes. He almost broke the record for most free throws made in an NGT tournament, ANGT, Adidas Next Gen tournament. So not only Nolan Traore did he have a great game against, but then he went up against they played other teams, the overtime elite team that's got, think about this. They've got the Dre Gibbs Lawhorns of the next year's class,
Heyman Thompson and guys like that, right?
Yeah, they're playing some really good kids. They're like 4-star, borderline 5-star kids.
Mattis Buzelis, isn't he in the or is he? No, he's in G League Ignite or whatever.
Yeah, he's on the G League Ignite, but the OTE has ballers on those teams. Like, they've got good players. So, and he put up, another 25, 30 piece. It's
what really the stat line that stood out to me, Ryan, is they had a game recently where they played some guys who they weren't very good, and his team beat him like 108-58. He had 7 points and 17 assists.
Yeah,
I mean he's a playmaker. He's a big bodied 2 guard at 6'5", 200 pounds. He can shoot. He can handle the ball. He's got
6'4.5", so he's 6'4.5" without shoes on. I want everybody to know that.
Well, good thing they play with shoes on.
Yeah, so he's 6'6". I just want everybody to know he's legit nearly 6'5".
Right,
so,
and
he's a big guard.
He's a facilitator. He can shoot. Tony asked a question: if he was a high school recruit, would he be a high 4-star or top 4?
Yes,
I think so. I think absolutely he would be.
Yeah, and here's the thing. In the Discord and even on some of these channels on X, people are like, that's not D1 ball that he's playing against. Well, let me just tell you guys this. All the top high school kids in the country aren't playing against D1 players. Okay?
Oh, right, absolutely.
So just think about that. So don't worry about what their stat lines are then, correct? All these guys, these high school kids, don't worry about what Merez Johnson's numbers were. Don't worry about what Cooper Flagg's numbers were. They're not playing against D1 competition. They're playing high school kids. Well, guess what? Kasparis is playing against 16 and 17-year-olds. So that's what his numbers are against the top kids in Europe who are 16 and 17 years old. And let me tell you what, obviously, where have I got my sources from that I've posted a crystal ball 2 days earlier than anybody even thought about saying he's coming or he's probably coming. I developed some sources over in Europe. You just got to go. You got to put your name out there. You got to keep hunting every day, keep pecking away. Guess what I said? So once I get word that Illinois is where he's going to go, which is obviously important. I care about that. But I want to know, what does he really bring to the table? Like, how good really is he? Like, everyone I talk to say right now he's better than Igor Demin is. So it's not about where he'll get drafted next year, because they're drafting for potential and talent 3, 4, 5 years down the road.
Yeah, and Igor's ball handling ability at 6'8", 6'9" is a difference maker for NBA level talent, but that doesn't mean you're a better player in college.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell people right now. And he's outplayed Igor 2 times already in the last year.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I want everybody to know that. So everybody drooling over Igor, Kasparis has outplayed him both times they played. I'm going to read one thing here off of what I was told from him, and I want you guys all to hear this, because this is a guy that knows these guys and who's watched them grow up and watched them play. And I wanted a little something to come on here with you guys. So,
Jeffrey G, I was thinking the same thing, dude.
What'd you say? Walking.
He said Humrikaus to Ivicevic to Giacchionis, a broadcaster's dream.
Yeah.
Brian Barnhart by the brush up, boy.
Oh my goodness, that is going to be something. Okay,
Too
so
bad Bill Walton's dead and won't be able to do the UCLA game.
you know what? It is weird, and it's fitting for Bill. The Conference of Champions is gone now, and now he passed away.
Yep, absolutely.
UCLA and the Pac-12 are gone. Conference of Champions. No way in hell was he going to ever call a UCLA game in the Big Ten. So, and by the way,
I personally love Bill, and I'm sad that he's gone, but I'm glad his battle with the nasty cancer is over. So.
I didn't realize he had been dealing with that I didn't know that.
Yeah, I listened to it, and I was driving back from Illinois today, and I was listening to some NBA talk shows, and they said, yeah, he'd been battling it for a while. He kept it private, kept it quiet. So
okay, so those who say Illinois, for those who think that Illinois got the lesser, with all the respect in the world, you guys are wrong. Here's why I have Kasparis ranked above Igor. Kasparis is a better outside shooter. Mm-hmm. Even though Dimon had a good shooting day in his very final game, he still had an awful first 3 games at the Adidas Next Gen tournament without making a single 3. Kasparis shot 38% in all competitions this season from 3, pro and youth competitions. In the game of basketball, modern trends are obviously favoring 3-point shooting. It's a very valuable skill, something Dimon has yet to improve at any level. That would make him useful at pro level for sure. He's got a better pace decision making. Kasparis, you are getting a player that can play at his own pace, orchestrate the team's offense. He executes pick and roll and ball screens. Dimon is not a primary ball handler either, and he operates better without having to make the decisions with the ball in his hand. So that is the stuff that you can – that's who I'm talking to about the situation. So I think Kasparis is going to be a huge here's the thing too, and look, I'll say their name because there's no beef with us anymore, but the fact that, Sleepers is basically saying they don't like Kasparis or – they're just not a fan. They aren't a fan of his game. I just genuinely don't think they've actually seen him very much. I mean, I don't know how you could say that with so little sample size or even really doing homework on the guy. It is what it is. And sometimes people eat crow. If you want, I feel like they're gonna eat crow with that.
Well, I think the Illinois roster is really tough to make up and look at, right? You could walk into last season and say, hey, where does Marcus Demas truly fit? Can a guy go from 4 years in the Valley and come into the Big Ten and produce? Well, we realized that last year that guys from the Valley certainly can't produce in the Big Ten. But there was question marks around it. But there was no question mark around that you had Coleman Hawkins and Terrence Shannon Jr. And that when you knew who the alpha was in Terrence Shannon Jr., and you knew the dynamic that Coleman Hawkins brought to a team like Illinois, in that he was 6'10", he could shoot the 3, he could dribble, he could pass, he could play defend multiple positions. So I think the difference is this year is coming in is that Illinois has nothing like that left over. And so you're bringing in guys like a Trey White, who was at a dysfunctional Louisville. You had a guy like Kylan Boswell, who was thought to be immature and never really took that alpha role at Arizona. And then you got a Humrickhouse and a Booth and a Jake Davis. You got all these guys. You just don't know what they are. And then you add in Ivicevic and Kasparis. I'm going to go with his first name because it seems like a lot easier to pronounce. Like, you're sitting here and you're going like, where do they fit? And we've never seen these guys produce at the high D1 Power 5 level where any of them were the man. And I think that it's fair for anybody to look at this team and go, I don't know how good they are. I think I've got a lot of trust in Brad Underwood and the guys that he's bringing in. Like, first of all, when you're bringing in these guys who are playing in these like semi-pro leagues from Europe, there's a level of maturation that already comes with it. I think Kylan Boswell getting a change of scenery is really healthy for him. I'm really bullish on what this team can be. And like you said to me when I couldn't be on the show when Rickhouse was on, it's like, Kevin, you're missing a chance to talk to a future NBA player. And I agree with that. So I'm really excited with, once we get this locked up, where we're at. And frankly, there's some people I hate, are we going to bring in another guy? Like, yeah, probably is my guess. And my guess is we probably leave a scholarship open.
Yeah.
but I don't think we need to really.
Let me while you're in the middle of that, let me make it clear. It's not going to be Jeremiah Fears, everybody, okay?
No. Damn,
he's not reclassing.
Well, holy shit, he's good, man.
He's not coming in December, midway through the year. They want to go. They're loading. I want everybody to know this. They're loading up at Compass. I just want you guys to know this. Talk to my good friend Ryan Ferran, who I want to get on the show again here soon. He just told me, dude, they're loading up, and they really want to win the Geico Nationals next year. And you're going to have Jeremiah be a top 10, 15 kid. I think he wants to be inside the top 10 before the year is over. He's already, I think, 15 right now, but they want to load up, get as much big names as they can, and go win that Geico Nationals next year. So I
think Brad's really got a plan here for some of these. A lot of these guys are going to have multiple years of eligibility, and I think the plan is to kind of, really emphasize high school recruiting after this class. So I think that keeping a guy like Fears in 25 is ideal because the focus is and will be on high school recruiting, probably going forward for the next couple of years. Just my guess.
Yep, and so next year, the class of 2025, watch out because Illinois not only has Jeremiah Fears on board, they might not get Diabonsa because yes, he's a Nike. It's a Nike. Kentucky or somebody like that probably ends up where he's going. I think Illinois does have a slim chance because they've got Fears coming and then you got Antigua. But I'm telling you, it's where he can make the most NIL money is where Diabonsa is going. Okay, I just want everybody to know that. That's where he's going. We might
have a nice bag for him.
Yeah, it's true. But I just want everybody to know that. But they've got two other 4 or 5-star kids coming to visit. You know what I mean? So
yes,
they're gonna have a nice two. They're gonna add at least 2 more 2025 kids that are high quality, top 50, 60 kids. I just want everybody to know that Jeremiah Fears is not coming alone in that class to just, I'm the 5, top 10 kid, and we got a couple low 4 stars with me. No, I would be shocked if they don't get another top 30 kid and then a top 50 kid to go with them. So
they want Riley, Jasper Johnson. Malik, right? I mean, they're really
shirt on. Got my Sweet 16 shirt with pride here. So those names that you mentioned, even a Will Rogers, is a name who I'd mentioned could maybe reclassify to 24, but if he stays in 25, that's a name right there that I know Illinois is.
Will Riley.
Yeah, I put Rogers. My bad, y'all. Will Riley. Yep. Thanks for the correction.
Dude, that was you. He's been eating it early this summer, dude. Eating.
Yep, and that was a name I was told that the staff was on, and I know that Ian Miletich from Chicago Wolves, Illinois Wolves. Yeah, the Illinois Wolves, Chicago Wolves, the old hockey team. The Illinois Wolves is another guy for 2025 that would be a guy that you could mix in there with them with a little different skill set. So. But yeah, I've been told too. I think he turns 18 on Wednesday. So I'll say this: if he does not announce, if it's not announced tomorrow for him, I would bet, Kev. I know you like to put your money out on there, put all your chips out. I'd put the chips out for Wednesday for sure. So in the next 48 hours, this young man, it's going to be out there. So. Look forward to that. I'm excited for that, and I just think that he may not be what some like. I think you may have read Jeffrey G's comment wrong. I don't know. Do you realize that he was really complaining that like you got Jameer Watkins, you had Miles Kelly, Monsanto in the transfer, in the draft process, and we're gonna go for an overseas kid. Who's not, who's like around Denman is really, that's what we're doing. That's what his comment is basically saying.
No, I get that. Yeah. And I was going to address that a little bit later. I think it's, I don't want to make Jeffrey mad. I want Jeffrey to go to Omni Costa tomorrow and watch golf for the Illini since he's out in the LA area. But no, I mean, I can get that. But those guys, there's legit chance some of those guys end up staying in the draft. I mean, and then you're left with what? I mean, it's kind of, and this guy can play. Like he is a really, really good fit on this roster. I mean, it is an ideal fit. A two guard who can shoot from three, who can create.
Yep.
This team will have some pieces that are really fundamentally like really nice. Now, the question is, I don't know how well he can guard because they don't ever show that in the highlight clips.
But yeah, he tries. I know that, but that isn't. But I think he's got the want to and the drive to be a solid, good defender. But the fact that he can play 1 through 3 is huge, no doubt.
Yes,
so,
absolutely, and he can play some booty ball. I mean, he's got some size to him. Like, I mean,
yep.
I think they're looking for pieces like this. I think Trey White can do that. And I mean, I'm really excited about. It's going to be so fun because the team is going to be so unique. But one of the things that we need to look at here, right, is 2 of the top 10 programs probably in college basketball in the past 20 years are Arizona and Gonzaga. And Arizona and Gonzaga have been littered with European guys, right? And there's other places around basketball college basketball that have done it. But this could open up a pipeline, right? You could start to bring in some of these guys and other guys like, hey, man, Illinois is a nice place to play. And Illinois has a huge contingent of foreign national students. So it is not necessarily a place. Now, what it's like in the locker room compared to what it's like on campus is obviously very different. But there's an aspect that's a draw there, too, to the University of Illinois being such a large foreign student body. So I'm excited. And at the same time, I have no clue how good they possibly can be. I'm very bullish. I think they're going to be really good. I think they're going to be really, really good. But when you replace as much as you do and you got to start fresh, I think the early season is going to be like, I think it's going to be a little bit rough. I think it's going to be a rough start. I'm not saying a rough start and when wins and losses. I'm saying a rough start and like, does it gel? Does it look good? So we'll see.
Yep. And then obviously with, with the football side, obviously I want everybody to know that before we finish up there with hoops, you got another day or two where guys can withdraw from the NBA draft process. I thought you guys saw Coleman Hawkins having a little bit of fun earlier. He told one of my buddies, who does some signings and autographs for the program, hey, tell everybody I'm back. Yeah, go ahead and tweet it. I'm coming back to Illinois. Well, I think he was just trolling, and he did it anyway, and I just want everybody to know, I don't believe that 100%. I think it's just a false alarm. He's just having fun because he was at the Raptors today, and I really think that he's going to get drafted. I think Coleman Hawkins is going to get drafted. So I just want everybody to know that in case you saw it. But, yeah, so there's still another day or two for guys to leave. As the next 2 days go on, I'll keep updating some stuff on Discord and post some teaser links if I think it could be a guy. But remember, it's not going to be a high dollar name though. They're no longer going to be able to pay, high six figures to a guy when you just got a guy like Kasparis. Mongolian Mike could have been an option, with him, so.
Yeah, it still can possibly, right?
Still can be an option. That'd be a guy. It's like, get another 6'8", 6'9" guy who can shoot it high IQ. You could bring off the bench, and I could be a dude I'd be cool with if you add him as a depth piece. Because yeah.
And my man B's jumping in here with the good news of the Angel Hernandez retirement. But I wanted to ask you, I wanted to jump in. Sorry, I saw it, Ryan. I cut you off.
That's all good.
He asked how good are our chances with Malik Thomas or Jasper Johnson. My understanding, and Ryan, you might have some more information on this one, probably better with Malik Thomas than Jasper Johnson. Jasper Johnson's grew up in Lexington. That's going to be a tough win, but you never know.
Yep.
Never know.
Yeah. Sorry, you guys. My chat slowed. Let me go through this chat real quick.
Reese. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, heck yeah. Illinois playing Indiana State on Friday. Go check it out. Nice, man.
I appreciate you, Tony, for the kind words. I did get your message, Tony. Tony's a pay site fella, and he was one of my haters maybe at one point, and he's kind of fallen and seen maybe I'm not so bad, man. Maybe I know my shit.
Hey, so Sean, Zachary Franklin, you asked a couple times. It's a getting into school thing they're working out.
Yep, it's true. Decatur native. Hey, hold on a second. Jeffrey G, a Decatur native. Where from? Where? What high school did you graduate from? I've obviously lived in Decatur. Was born and raised. But yeah, so the only I just saw Jay Bay. I know I'm like 20 minutes behind you guys. Sorry.
It's all good.
Comedy hacks. That's Humrichus.
Oh, St. T, he's one of them kids. He's one of them dudes.
Oh, St. T. Okay. What year did you graduate? That's the real thing.
Yeah, is he a young folk rolling with Sean Dunning, or is he one of the older folks?
Yeah, exactly. Are you okay? Jason Ron here. How any feel with Coleman's message you see with SEC saying he's coming back? Yes,
I think he's trolling out. He's just trolling.
He's trolling. How does NIL work with Ford student athletes? I think in some of them you may not have to pay them as much, or there's not as much of because some of them aren't actually allowed to get paid through the NIL, I believe.
It's a weird situation. You got to use a little bit of circumventing and back channels. David French, Travion Brazil, no, not a fit. Don't really. I don't think that's a good locker room guy.
I need an Elite Eight shirt. I just wasn't. I'm not on that level yet. I'm still at that Sweet 16.
Travion Brazil was and like, listen, I don't want to be in the rumor spreading, but things got really weird at Arkansas last year, and there was something about a love triangle involving Travion Brazil. And when I talk about a love triangle, I'm talking about 3 players on the team, and it was not a good situation. And I just don't think that. I think Illinois has a player similar to him in Kerry Booth. I don't think we need and he's somewhere between Kerry Booth and Ben Humrickhouse, and I think that's good.
Wait a second, a love triangle? You're talking about between the players?
Yes.
So that's really why Musselman left, because it was just too much.
There is something weird about it. So
okay.
Illinois fan, does this team being super young worry you? No, not really. And here's why, because I don't think they're that young. I think that Kylan Boswell's young in age. I think Kasparis is young in age. I think that Ivicevic is probably, like a sophomore in age. But you got guys like Humrickhouse, he'll be a 5th-year guy, right? And you got Ty Rogers, who's in 3rd year in the program. You got Trey White, who's a junior. I don't think they're that young. I think they're just younger than they were last year. I don't see them being a highly inexperienced team. The question about experience, and I think that will cause some trouble with us early in the season, is how well does it fit? How well do they gel together? Heck, you got language barriers with some of the guys. So, I worry about that. But we're not that young. We're not rolling out a bunch of freshmen here.
Let's think about this too. Kylan Boswell may be 19, but he's not young in game. Okay.
No, he's played 2 full seasons at Arizona and played a lot. So
yes, and I can tell you, retired Plano AD. I think they will probably add one more. I think me and Kevin went over that. Don't know who yet. I think a Mongolian Mike might be in a guy who would fit pretty decently. Don't know yet. We'll see who all drops out of the draft and stays in the portal and all that good stuff. But it's not going to be a high dollar guy that they add.
I think one of the things to be excited about here is I think we should put a wrap on this transfer portal stuff, because we're kind of at the close of, like, once we get Kasparis, it's not like we're adding, high level guys. We're not, like you said, Ryan, we're not offering big bags left. Yeah. But I think if you're watching this podcast, listening to this podcast, and you're excited about Illinois basketball, dude, be excited about the level of guys that are interested in Illinois from a high school recruiting standpoint.
Yep.
The 25 class and then the 27 class is loaded in state, absolutely loaded in state. I would be really excited about what's going on there, because Orlando AT was always been so good on that front. I think that there's a lot to be said for what's going to happen there. Tim Anderson in the state of Illinois is just, that's a gold mine. And then now we're cutting our roots in the European market. So it's just really exciting going forward with what Illinois can do. So,
yeah. So really quick, transitioning to football though, like Illinois added 2 guys. They added a JUCO offensive lineman, and then they just added a Illinois fan. Yep, Ryan, we appreciate your Discord, even though everyone calls me negative. Not charging us anything and having the best insight is something special. Hey, again, and Sean Garner.
Yes, if we can get him in school.
Sean Garner, and I appreciate him asking the same question 4 times every show.
Yes, if we can get him in school, Sean.
Yeah, if he can get in. I heard it's a summer school class.
Yeah.
And he went and I guess he visited Washington because he might be able to sneak in with his credits no matter if
I don't know that you're going to get into the University of Washington with that. Like, I mean, you need to start looking at Kentucky or something, kid. Like, come on.
You need like an IU degree or something. No, anyway, sorry, Goody. But anyway, yeah, so Illinois just added a former tight end Oregon State commit who was, I think he was a guy who
the D2 tight end.
Yeah, the D2 tight end who was an All-American, the D2, but had committed to Oregon State. And remember, with their new coach, left to go to Michigan State. Name is Carson Goda. You got to think about this. Illinois has adding some the Russ kid from Moline.
Yeah.
Dynamic kid, and you're adding this dude. They're adding some dynamic tight end receiver slot type dudes with big size, and you still got Tanner Arkin and Henry Boyer, and I'm just saying, like, I like what they're doing. I think the offense. I think and if let's just say this, the cherry on top is if Franklin does commit because they can get him in. Then Illinois is cooking. He can get into Nebraska. True, very true, Jason. So I think the offense is going to be dynamic, and I honestly think that's why I have them going to a bowl game next year. Like if you take away the 4 really tough games that pretty much everybody already has them losing, I think they could win all the other 8. I don't think they will. I think they could, but I definitely have Illinois win at least 6 games next year, and we'll delve more into that into August. But I like what they're doing and using the portal, getting Brooks from Texas.
Yeah, huge pickup.
That was huge pickup. That, and they're not done. Okay, just for everybody to know that. So they're still doing what they need to do. I had mentioned that they got that like a $5 million boost in NIL, and it's helped them out. So, but yeah, so like what Bielema and the staff is doing in the portal. I like the high school kids. Like you got Newton's brothers coming in mid-June. Really, really talented high 3-star kid. So
he's more than a 4-star kid, right?
Yeah, he's pretty much a 4-star kid. I said high 3-star, but it is borderline there. Should be. It probably will be a 4 before he steps on the field and steps on campus. And then they've got some big-time visitors coming in early June and mid-June. And we got some in-state kids who are working on getting these, with Trimble. You just added Braden Trimble to the 2025 class. I think he had offer from Ole Miss and George McDonald. They wanted him. Okay, yeah, Ole Miss wanted Braden Trimble.
Yeah, but Braden Trimble's a really good kid. Like, he's a guy that can definitely play at this level. This is not a charity case of a local kid at all.
Yep. So it looks like and Jason, Rusk and the new guy aren't really blocking tight ends. So I mean that's 2. You could put an Arkin and a Rusk in.
Or Arkin and Boyer. Yeah. Boyer is a hell of a blocking tight end.
Yep. So you can do all kinds of different things. So with that said, we'll still answer some Q&A questions the last 10 minutes here. So, but Kev, I'm going to give you the floor. Unless you have anything else to talk with the final thoughts, we'll go about 10 minutes here, and you can talk about some Illini golf because they deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was a phenomenal weekend for, obviously I wanted to talk about it last week. Illinois went out to the Stanford Regional. They were the 3rd seed in the Stanford Regional and won that, beat Florida State by, I believe, about 6 strokes. Max Henredine was the regional champion there, and then followed that up with a 2nd-place finish, tied with his teammate Tyler Goki. Now, one of the things that is just really impressive is, like, I don't think that Goki started for us at the Big Ten championships, and then Small throws him in the regional, and he was our 2nd-best golfer there. So we won the regional, and now we've won stroke play. So we won the 72-hole stroke play to get to match play, which starts tomorrow. Illinois will face Georgia Tech. Illinois ended up being the 1 seed because that's what happens when you win stroke play. We won stroke play by 16 strokes. It was phenomenal. We had 3 guys who were even par or better. Nobody else had more than nobody. I haven't seen anybody else that had 2. it was just like for a long time there, it didn't seem like we were going to have a player in contention for the national championship. And then Henerdine and Goki were great. We birdied 4 guys, birdied 18. Jackson Buchanan seemed to turn it around and find it a little bit. He moved up the leaderboard the past couple of days. And this is so impressive because last year in Illinois made it to match play and lost 3-2 to Florida State. Match play is its own beast. We were the 3 seed. They were the 6 seed. Florida State's really good. They got a guy, Luke, don't call me Ike Clanton, who is in contention for the national championship. And they ended up beating us. But we won the 2 matches that we won last year were Adrian DeMont Duchassart, and who's now on the PGA Tour, and Tommy Cool, who's playing on PGA Tours America, used to be Canadian Tour. Like those were our top 2 guys, and basically our third guy was Jackson Buchanan, but then our fourth guy was Matisse Bassard. I believe he transferred from SIU. So you're walking into a season where you lose 3 of the guys, 5 guys who played in match play for you, and what do? Well, we end up basically winning the stroke play. It is just absolutely phenomenal what's going on. And like I said, match play is its own beast. We take on Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech has probably the second best golfer on the college tour. Christo, I can't remember his last name. It's really unfortunate for him. He hurt his back and didn't play the last 2 days and won't play tomorrow. So Illinois should be in a really good now. Georgia Tech did have the eventual national championship guy who parted to 3 under, despite having a triple bogey on number 17, which was actually number 8. But Illinois is in a really good spot that if they are able to advance tomorrow, so that'll start at noon Central Time. Then they'll move to the semifinals against the winner of North Carolina, Florida State. North Carolina national runner-up last year, got a great player, Austin Greaser. Florida State, obviously led by Luke Clanton, really good and beat us last year. So it'll be a challenge to get to the championship. But they're right there, and we're playing this course better than anybody else. What's really interesting is nobody played this course before this week. The women played last week, and then the men got the practice round. But this course just opened literally 2 weeks ago for the women's national championship as it was redone. And so this is just really exciting what they've done. I'm fired up. I was watching it I was a little bit late getting on because I was watching it right up to the end to see because if Henerdine could have eagled 18 and he came pretty close, he would have tied, and then that would have pushed it to an overtime for an individual national championship. But it's just supposed to be a rebuild year, and here you are, the 1 seed in match play. We played in match play more than any other team since the advent of it, and we still face the uphill battle of it's not fun to play golf in Illinois in February, March. So, as a matter of fact, I was home this past weekend. My buddy's kid was the eighth grade state champion out of Charleston. He's a phenomenal golfer going into his sophomore year, I believe. And I asked him, I'm like, where do you want to play? He's like, I just want to go someplace warm. I'm like, well, what if Mike Small calls? And he's like, I want to go someplace warm. So think about the challenges that Illinois golf has to deal with is like, if you're a golfer, you do want to play someplace warm. I could play golf in Oklahoma about 10 months a year. And just phenomenal. I'm just really geeked. I'm really excited about it. It's tomorrow starting at noon. It'll be on the Golf Channel. Tune in. Understand this. If you're watching it and Illinois is trailing in a match as it gets to the later holes, for folks who haven't paid attention, haven't been watching this week, and if you want to watch tomorrow, like after hole 11 through 17 are diabolical. And all the par threes are super, super hard. And what that means is there's just chances for bogeys from our opponent, so we can win holes back. I don't think any lead's going to be really safe here, but we've managed this course far better than anybody. 6 under par. Second place was Vanderbilt, I think 10 over. Like Virginia was third at like 11 over. It's ridiculous. Like incredible what this team has done. So
we've been missing you, Barry. Where the hell you been, Barry?
He's getting some scoops. He's getting some scoops.
I was about to say, Barry, you need some more scoops, brother. Somebody's been busy getting them. I'm about to throw it onto you. It's like I'm gonna take this monkey off my back and throw it on you. But so that is. I always wondered how the match play worked, but I know this. There were years where Illinois was like a favorite, right? And everybody was like,
"Yeah." Last year we were a top 3 or 4 team in the country coming into it. We were the 16th ranked team coming into this one according to golf rankings.
So this could be the year, man. I'm not jinxing it. I feel like the way how well they just played the course, though, Kevin, you would think that unless they all of a sudden have and I get it, every day's different in golf, but there's just something, man, about it's kind of magical right now. It just feels like this could be the year, would be the year that nobody really expected it. And you know what? I think Mike Small deserves one,
Oh, dude, absolutely. I mean, the Golf Channel guys, I listen to some college golf podcasts. There aren't many out there. They all speak reverentially about the guy. I've met him a couple times. He's phenomenal. I've been to the golf championships a couple times. It was Oklahoma State. I was there last year when it was in a Greyhawk and outside Phoenix. I saw them play in Oklahoma when they played in Norman and regional once, and and got a chance and talked to Mike Small every single time, and he's just a phenomenal dude, and I wish them nothing but the best, man. I really, if this will be huge. Like, I will be super excited Wednesday if we can take home the title. It'll be way up there.
I bet you we can get. I bet you we'd be able to get one of the golfers on too next weekend.
That would be really cool. I'd actually like to get my buddy who works for the Golf Network to come on and talk about it.
Okay, all right. So now we'll transition just brief, to another sport that Illinois is doing pretty well. And even though they didn't play well in the Big Ten tournament, they did what they needed to do when they won the regular season. Illinois baseball is the 3 seed in the Lexington regional, which I will say, tough regional. I would have loved to seen them in maybe the East
Oklahoma State.
I was going to say, for your sake, I was hoping they get sent to Stillwater or to Norman.
Yes, I would have been there.
Yeah, so you could have gone and watched them. Yeah, but either one of those would have been a lot easier than Kentucky. The Kentucky, it's not. I know that they're
the best team in the country. Yeah,
yeah, they were the number 2 overall. I mean, I think 1 through 4, it's like take your pick. But I know they're the SEC champs. They were pretty, they were obviously better than Tennessee, who they swept Illinois earlier in the year. But here's the thing: you're in it. You get your day. You get your chance. They get Indiana State, who they just beat 21-11 3 weeks ago in Champaign. Who Indiana State ran out of pitchers. They 10-runned them. I think I watched the baseball selection show today. Indiana State did not look thrilled when they saw their matchup. Those pitchers were like this, like we couldn't even get out of an inning. So Illinois, I think probably the second best team in that regional. I think they'll probably end up playing Kentucky for the regional. And you know what?
Well, not if we hit like we did the Big Ten tournament.
No, true, but I don't think
we scored 10 runs in 3 games from a team that had been averaging 10 runs. So
I don't think those bats will stay quiet the whole regional. So, but yeah, so congratulations to Illinois baseball and Dan Hartlib. He had a plethora of all Big Ten team players. It was good to see Cameron Janet get first team all Big Ten, probably the best catcher in the Big Ten. I love I also found out he is the toughest kid to strike out in all the Big Ten conference.
Yeah, top 10 in the nation.
Yeah, dude just makes contact, and he hits it hard. He's built stocky. He's built like Johnny Bench. He's like, sturdy. He's just a hoss. And you know what? And Valachunas needs to get it going. The dude didn't have 1 hit in Omaha. And I think that really hurt.
Mormon scuffled a little bit too.
Yeah, Mormon and Shepard and those dudes get Harding rolling.
Schroeder hit well. Schroeder, if you talk about if Janek's not the best catcher in the Big Ten Conference, Schroeder's right there with him. So
yeah. Yep. So
both those guys got eligibility too. I don't know if they. I think Janek probably is going to get drafted.
Yeah, Illinois got some guys that are going to get drafted. Definitely pitching wise, I think their closer.
Glassy.
Yeah, Glassy's tough. I think he's a guy who could get drafted. But anyway, JR, my daughter wants me to ask you if you have any news on the portal for the women's basketball team. I hadn't seen it. I know they had got a center commit, and somebody mentioned it earlier. Are they losing her?
She went to Oklahoma State.
Yeah, she apparently wasn't Shauna Green her old coach too.
Something like that.
It's a weird
situation.
Yeah, that's just odd. The only thing
I don't know what the bag is for a reserve center at the D1.
The only thing I can think is that Illinois has another one in the works, and they were just like, bye. I just don't see how that worked out. So we love what Shauna Green's doing with this program. I know Illinois is going to be a top 25 team next year. They brought all these girls back from a team that really should have been an NCAA tournament team again, but Makaira Cook was just injured and
was not herself the first.
Wasn't herself the first month of the year. Lost.
She hurt her head, right? Like she had a concussion of some sort.
Yeah, she had a concussion. Yep.
And I mean, it was a little bit of like, without the weirdness, but a little like the on court not playing well, a little bit like Andre Curbelo vibes.
Yep.
She just wasn't herself. It was like this girl, she just couldn't find the bucket, man.
And then I'm sorry, but how Illinois finished the year was just dynamic. I mean, they just went on a roll and beat some really good teams. And even though they didn't make the NCAA tournament, again, they beat 4 NCAA tournament teams in the last month. Like, they were just playing really good. You can see the talents there. And they're adding, like, really good top 100 kids, like 4-star girls. And, they're still adding more size in the post, even without the loss there of the center. So, and they've got some young girls who are playing really Dolan, who was playing really good as a freshman last year. So I like what they got going on there. Hopefully let your daughter know that. Nothing new other than that. But I'll definitely check in here and next week have a little bit better update for you. Other than that, we appreciate you guys. College Huddle. Go for it.
Well, you're talking about the women's basketball team. Illinois is in pretty good with Divine Barrage out of Davenport. And she might be a package deal with another superstar. So she's the number 4 overall recruit in the class of 2025. So, I mean, this really isn't my forte. Destiny Jackson's another one out of Whitney Young. I mean, there's like, and she's a number 25 overall recruit according to ESPN. Like, we are in on some really high level girls in the next class, and there's a chance that there might be like this like triumvirate of like this trifecta of superstar girls that might be in. So,
yep. Let's see here. Looking one more. He's BZN's related to Illinois legend Max Williams. Okay. Me and my father think 25-26 season with Fears on the team might be the year we win a national championship. If with Merez in his second year, you've got Kasparis as a second-year guy, you got Ty Rogers as a senior.
Boswell.
Yeah, Boswell. Yeah, you just never know.
Trey White, Kerry Booth.
Yeah, it's true. That could be a loaded team. So, with that said, though, if you haven't followed us, if you haven't subscribed on YouTube, people, please click the subscribe button. Obviously, like it. We appreciate it. Thanks, JR. We appreciate it. Give us a rate or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And again, we always thank College Huddle. We are the official Illini podcast for the College Huddle, thecollegehuddle.com. Every team you could think of, any team, Indiana, Purdue, Boston College, whatever, there's a podcast for them on there. We are the official Illini podcast. We have our own page on there as well. Expect some good news in the next couple of days. By the way, thank you for all your service, Kevin. Thank you for your service. It's Memorial Day today. So I hope you guys all enjoyed your day, got to spend it with your loved ones. And obviously it's a day of remembrance. And so I definitely did that. My grandpa served in World War II. Thankfully made it out. And it wasn't ever the same after that, Kev. My mom told me that her dad, my grandpa, never wanted to talk about what he saw over there, but my mom said from everything that happened with my uncle and my aunt that he just wasn't the same guy when he came back. But was an amazing grandfather, was an amazing dad, and we love every veteran, anybody who's served, and that's what today was about. So hopefully you guys enjoyed your day. Yeah,
remember this is like that, and no offense, Ryan, I'm not trying to be a prick here. That's what Veterans Day is for today. Today's for the guys who didn't come home, and the guys and gals who didn't come home, the guys who gave their life in service. It's my tradition is I always put all Some Gave All by Billy Ray Cyrus on my Facebook page. I know Billy Ray Cyrus gets made fun of, but it's a heck of a song. And it just talks about, the sacrifices that are made. So to my brothers who have lost, I'm lucky enough that I didn't lose any friends during my time in service. I had complete time of peace. But to all my brothers and sisters that sacrificed their lives and friends of friends. Like, it's a good opportunity to just remember them while we still got another hour and 40 plus minutes in this day. So,
hey, no, I don't think you're a prick for saying that. I still think of anybody who served because they put their life on the line for it, and I understand.
I know. I just have, dude. If you're a veteran and you listen to the show and somebody says, "Man, happy Memorial Day" or "Thank you for your service on Memorial Day," don't be that dude. Don't be that douchebag that chews somebody out. Like, be above that. Like, I can't stand it when veterans do that stuff, man. Yes, Veterans Day is around November 11th, Armistice Day, but today's about remembering those who are buried in Arlington and other places.
Yep. So with that said, enjoy the rest of your Monday, and we'll be back next week. So obviously a lot of good things coming your way, Illini fans. So with that said, swap me out.
ILL.